Okay, now we started recording the session. Welcome everyone to IE26 Engineering Economy. And today, inshallah, we'll have the replacement and retention decisions. This chapter is extended to the time value of money. We will implement the same principles and concept that we have covered in chapter 2, 5, and 6 for a different application. What is the replacement and when will we use the replacement in real life? Think about something that you use daily, like your car, your refrigerator at home, your conditioning, AC, also at home. Any equipments that you daily use or frequently use, after a certain period of time, you think about replace it. Is the same in industry, is the same in we as a human. We become in a certain time in our age, we need to be replaced with someone maybe younger. When I get maybe 60 or 61 years old, I need to be replaced with some fresh blood in the organization. So replacement is a concept that is commonly applied. Here we talk about the equipments, about the machines in industrial level, how we make the decision whether we keep the exist machine or we replace it. Changing an equipment or changing your car, it could be for many reasons. Can someone share with us here what would be the reasons that you may decide about changing your car? كل يوم okay. Every day that you need to repair it. Okay, it is old. Okay, it is old, breakdown sometimes, or frequent breakdown. Frequent breakdowns again. Fuel. عبد الرحمن حربي تفضل.
Doctor, because it costs more for the old car, because you need to maintain the car with the expensive parts.
Okay, maintaining the car, the cost of the maintenance, accident, الله يحفظنا جميعا وإياكم. It could be, that's mean the damage to repair it is, I think Abdullah, what he meant is the damage for repairing that car after an accident, it is high. Okay, good examples, and this is exactly the reality. This is what happened. And those are the reasons for replacement. If you look to the reasons of replacement, even though these words it may be defined in a different way, but it is related to what you just given me. The first one, wear and tear, which means that after a long time of use, it becomes now a lot of breakdowns in the car. It needs to be repaired every often. Decreasing the reliability and productivity, that is mean also similar in terms of the car, the fuel consumptions. We know as engineers, the engine of your car, the fuel consumption of that engine, it increases over time after you use the car. Your car, maybe at the beginning when you just purchased the car, it was more economical compared to 10 years later or after a high mileage. Then the engine, due to the lifespan, it start to consume more fuel to make the engine works. So reliability and productivity also it reduce over time. Increasing operating and maintenance costs. This is exactly what Abdurrahman and other students they mentioned. Altered requirement. I believe one of you, Abdulaziz, he said new production needs. That means this car is old. You need something new, has more technology or maybe more features if you are caring about that, and it is something superior to you. And obsolescence, that means it's obsolete. This is exactly like what says by Abdullah. If la samah the car went to an accident and خلاص, it becomes like a junk, or it is very 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 old that even maybe spare parts is not يعني anymore to be found easily, so it becomes like obsolete. Now what I gave example about the car because this is something that most or all of you use and you own, but this exactly what you can also apply to industrial level when we talk about large equipments or complicated systems or complex machines. Okay, so it's the same concept. um, these two terminologies we need to recall, and we had them since the last lecture or the last chapter of the chapter 9. And these terminologies are the defender and challenger. Defender is the exist car you have or you own now, and the challenger, not Dodge Challenger, this is a model called Challenger, but we are talking about the car that is now challenging your existing car that to be replaced, which means that the other alternatives or the other cars you may replace your car with. Okay, so Challenger is the new one that you may go and select, and the Defender is the one you have existed. Okay, so those two considered to be alternatives and mutually exclusive alternatives. Okay, remember what is mutually exclusive? Do you recall this from chapter 1 or chapter 2? What is the mutually exclusive? Huh? Let's refresh. Let's see if you are ready for the exam or no. What does mutual exclusive? Okay, no one answering. طيب. We will see in the exam. I think this is a good question I have to bring. Okay. طيب Abdullah, he went to the chapter now. Okay, yes.
بس السلام عليكم.
Yes.
اللي هي اللي يكون عندي عدة لازم اختار واحد منها.
Yes, you have to select one. Actually, the answer is in the next line, but I thought you all can recall it from chapter 1. Thank you, Abdullah. Is you select one and reject the other. Even if you have more than one, you select only one. That's the mutually exclusive, okay? Guys, you have to be prepared for the exams. Don't study just the day before, okay? This is my advice for all courses, not only this one. طيب. Continuing with the terminologies that we do, basically we do either two type of problems that comes under this chapter of the replacement, either the economic service life problem or the replacement itself analysis. Okay, today we will cover the economic service life, and then in the next class inshallah we will continue with the replacement study. About this terminology, the defender cost is the market value of the defender now used as its initial investment P, and it is correct to correct estimate to assign and keeping the defender. We will talk about that inshallah when we come to the examples, but this is not a method, this is a terminology. Terminology يعني مصطلحات. Okay, but when we talk about methods, this economic service life, it is terminology and it is method, and we will implement example to see how it look like. And the other method is the replacement study analysis itself. The economic service life is the number of years which the lowest annual worth of cost occurs. I give you a good example. If you don't mind, we continue with the car example because I believe it is more applicable to be understood by you easily compared to other examples. Now, if you think about the car and what is the economic service life, usually it becomes between 5 to 7 years or 100 kilometer mileage. And if you trigger those two numbers, you see companies usually do the warranty and maintenance plans that offered with the car within this range, if you think about it, because this is the economic service life for this machine or this cars. If you exceed the 7 years, usually the cost will get increased annually in terms of maintaining your car. And also, this is another concept, is that the appreciation of the car, it will be reduced. So usually the companies, when they plan for warranty, maintenance, or insuring the cars, they usually think about the ESL, because if you increase the number of years, that's mean it is risk to the company that they will cover major maintenance problems for the majority of their sales. But usually cars, they complete their ESL or economic service life by 5 years, and after that usually the problems comes to start. Okay, do you agree? First, before we go to the next point, I believe from your experience maybe and your relatives in home, if you see the cars after 5 or 6 years, you can compare, and this is similar to the concept here that we are finding. So what we are trying to do is, in this lecture, is to find the economic service life for the machine, to find, and the answer for this type of methods is to find number of years. So at the end you will get number of years, and that exactly is telling you this is the economic service life for this asset. meaning بالعربي هذا افضل وقت او اقتصادي انك تستخدم فيه الماشين. After that you will start to pay more, and it will not become economical. What are the factors that we consider in terms of this analysis? We consider one good point, which is the first cost or the market value. When you get the car, you are paying the market value to purchase the car, and as soon you own the car, you have a different market value if you want to resell the car. So this is what we consider in terms of the factors, plus definitely the salvage, which is after usage for a certain period, and definitely also the annual operating cost that you are paying every year. Okay. طيب. We have agreement with this concept. with some of the students, they said yes, they agree with that. ESL, or the economic service life, the number of years n, which the lowest annual worth, the lowest annual worth. So we are using chapter 6 application on this chapter. We're not using the present. The total annual worth, all we do know it, and seek the time period that minimize the total annual worth for the range of the life selected. We will see examples, inshallah. I don't want you to worry about this formula, because basically what we are doing is finding the annual worth. The only thing that I would like to mention here and highlight it about this first part, where is the minus P A given P. And I will explain it in the example to make it more in sense why we are having the sign for the P, and the salvage and annual operating cost, all of that. It is something that we all know how we convert values to annual. Basically, type of examples for this problem comes in this format. It gives you an information about a machine that is being used for a certain time, or it's just brand new, and I want to know where is the ESL and when should I think about changing this machine. Okay, this information consists of initial cost usually, or the current market value as we have in this example, and other information like annual operating cost, which is given in the next slide, and also the future market value, which is the salvage value, definitely the interest percent, and the number of years that is planned to keep this machine. And within this plan, definitely when you go and get a car, you know, if we want to apply this in the car example, you know that you are not going to own it يعني at least not more than maybe 10 to 15 years يعني especially with the current manufacturing يعني industry for the automotive. We are not expecting that to have something that more than 10 to 15 years. Things يعني will be changed obviously. Maybe if we go back in time, people, yes, they used to keep them يعني ما شاء الله drive it hundreds of thousands of kilometers, and they keep it for 20 and 30 years and it's still running. But this is not often now. It is very rare. So this is what you are expecting to have 5 years plus to the in the example here it was mentioned, and I will read it again. But here it was expecting that is not going to be kept more than 8 years in total. But you want to find what is the ESL. When is the best time if I want to change it? Is the right time to change this car? I give you an example, extending again to the cars example, and then you can apply it again to any other examples in the industry. I'm here not talking about the brand name, but the luxury car in general, especially the European one, because the depreciation of the price is very high. If you think about it, that usually when the warranty goes off, the advice is the economic service life is off. So you have to change it immediately, because maintaining those cars after the ESL and after the warranty is going to be relatively high, and compared to the resale value it will be very low. So people always, they advise that the ESL for those cars is the warranty. Once the warranty is done, then the car is done. Try to يعني sell it. يعني again, this is not mathematically proven, but is from the experience. You can يعني hear it from the expertise in the automotive field. طيب, let's read this example. A 3-year-old manufacturing process asset is being considered for early replacement. So this machine, from the beginning, it is considered to be early replaced. Due maybe technology change or anything that happened to them. Its current market value, current, pay attention to the word current, okay? That's mean now. Is 13,000. Estimated future market value and the annual operating cost for the next coming 5 years given in the next slide. Just let's look at them. Not this one, sorry, the second one. This market value is given for the coming 5 years, and the annual operating cost is given in the problem. Okay. طيب. In table, that is the table I just show you. What is the economic service like? So you expect a typical order in the question of this chapter. What is the economic service life? What I usually bring in terms of the exams, if I ask you about the economic service life in one exam, the other exam in the final I will ask for the replacement study analysis. If I bring the replacement study analysis in exam in the final, I will ask. So you're expecting one of those two to be numerically solved in each exam. What is the economic service life of this defender if the interest rate is given as a 10% and by hand? One thing I would like to mention, that the 3-year-old here, it didn't really add that value to you in terms of the formulation. When we solve the problem, you will see this information didn't give me much details or anything to be added in the formulation. Why? Because the current market value is the start point for your formulation. The current market value is the starting point. If current market value was given for the 3-year-old analysis, for the 3-year-old back, then yes, I would agree the 3-year-old, it will matter. But since if no information was given in terms of the annual operating cost or the market values for those 3 years old, we don't have much to add in terms of the formulation. So our formulation start from this point now after 3 years, okay, and that will be time 0, and then we will count for 5 years from that year. All right. This is summarizing the example. Defender asset is 3-year-old now. The market value now is 13,000. 5-year study period assumed, and find or the estimated solve the annual operating cost. It is given in the next table for the 5 years. By the way, for the annual operating cost for something that you would like to buy, like cars, usually you can ask the authorized dealer to show you the maintenance plan, and it will show you the cost that you will pay for every periodic maintenance. Okay. طيب. So let's see, this is the given information, the market value for year 1 after the 3 years. As we said, the 3 years it will be neglected, and we will start from there in terms of the formulation. So year 1 it is 9,000, until year 5 it is 0, because that is considered to be the study period range. So we consider that it will be 0 that time. And the annual operating cost was given. All these given in the information and from the question, so you are not calculating any of those. And as we can see, the market value, as all equipments on machine, you cannot buy and find machine that is increasing in terms of the market value. It is always decreasing somehow, but maybe the way it decrease is different from machine to other, and the annual operating cost usually or obviously it increase. Okay, this one on the right, the annual operating cost السنوية, the maintenance or operation, سعر أو تكلفة تشغيل والصيانة. When it says annual, we used to have the annual that is last for many years. As you can see, the annual here, it is change every year. So pay attention to that. Okay, it is single value here, even though it is annual, but it's single value. It's not that a value that you use it for long periods. Now, what about the one on the left? That is the market value, سعر السوق. If you want to resell this machine, or you want to offer it for يعني in the market, it will worth 9,000 for year 1, 8,000 year 2, and so on. Okay. طيب, what we do in finding the ESL, we start year by year. Unfortunately, here you cannot do a calculation from the first step that gives you the answer. So you have to do it year by year. And I consider that definitely in the exams, I bring something that you can finish it with يعني 3 to 4 steps. Because bringing problems that has like 10 years, it will take a long time for students just to solve it and repeat the same steps. But in real life, you can do it in Excel, because all these formulations are already programmed in Excel, and you can conduct the analysis with just يعني few clicks. Okay, regarding to the students' comment about antique car and 80s, 90s, 70s, maybe he's يعني assuming that those still يعني can be sold with a high maybe price. Yes, because now we are not talking about something that you bought it and you use it within the same exist of time. You are talking about something that rare to be found, first place. The second place, the amount of money is being invested for those cars to be refurbished and to be renewed again, to be used. It is huge. Those cars keeping the structure, yes, the body frame, yes, but most of those mechanic, if is not all, in terms of the mechanical systems, is being changed. You cannot run engine as is without paying a rebuilt engine from something that is being used from 1970, unless is it stored and kept in a professional way that to keep it, and also that it will cost a lot, because keeping those cars in the same condition without changing the mechanical system, it is costly. As we talk here, we are talking about something that usually occasionally used, and you want to resell it with the same خلينا نقول time frame of that car. That if we are talking about car, we are expecting 10 to 20 years. That is the range. But if we are exceeding to that until the 80s and 70s, we are talking about rare and antique cars. That is totally something different story. And if there are many, definitely the price you will not find it high, but because it's supply and demand, because of those is rare to be found, that's why it is keeping this price. And as I told you, there is a huge investment of money to show them and keep them in the way you look and see them in those auctions. Okay, طيب. I hope that was clear about the comment. And let's go back to the solution. So we will take it step by step from year 1 or from year 0 until year 5. In year 0, we have in the cash flow only the 13,000, which is the current, and it says in the example, is the current market value. And maybe one student say, okay, but why is that considered to be a minus? It's a market value. In the replacement study, since we are going to start analyzing the cost for the coming years, we consider this time, year 0, is a loss of opportunity. Opportunity that you lost already. Why? Because if you sold it now, if you sold this now, that's mean it is going towards $13,000, and that is considered to be an investment. You used it in terms of operating that machine or that asset for the coming years. But for the future market value, it is opportunity that you still didn't use and you can have it. That's why it comes with plus sign. So the market value for the initial investment, which is for time 0, consider always in a minus sign, and that is the sign I wanted to draw your attention on when you see in the formula here the minus P. And all the values need to be changed to an annual. As we said, this is an annual application of this chapter, so it has to be changed to an annual from present with a 10% for year 1. So we study now year 1, so that will be for year 1, and then we will use the salvage value, and we have to convert it to from future to an annual, and that will be A given F for 9,000 minus the 2,500, which is an annual already given, and that will be minus 7,800 for 1 year. You will do the same thing for the coming 5 years, and we will see that in the coming slides. But the only thing that will be different is those values will be implemented in year 2 in addition to the year 1 values, again for year 3, 4, and 5. So you have to pay attention to expanding this cash flow to year 2 with the values that given in the table 3, 4, 5, and also pay attention to the formulation that the number of years will be changed when we do the annual analysis. It was here for only 1 year, and in the coming we will do it for 2 years. So as you can see, now the cash flow has been expanded to 2 years. The market or current market value, which is the 13,000, is always we use it with a minus, but the future one, which use as a salvage, to be in a plus or inflow. As we did for the year 1, the 13,000 to convert it to annual, now it is converted to 2 years instead of 1. So the formulation will have 2 for A given P, 10% for 2 years. Plus the 8,000, which is the salvage, and that is a future value. We need to convert it to an annual also for 2 years. Then we add the cost for the 2,500 in addition to the 2,700, but those, they are not now annual in terms of the 2 years. They are a single value that appear only for that exist year. But in the year 1, remember when we had the 2,500, it was the only year that existed in the cash flow annual, so we used it as is without any conversion. But when we expanded the cash flow here to 2 years, now this annual is not anymore an annual for the cash flow for the 2 years. It is only for year 1. And also the annual in year 2 is not annual anymore. It is a single value that appear on year 2. So we deal with them as a future value, and we convert them from future to present first. Why? Because we cannot convert from here to an annual for 2 years. We have to convert it to future value or to present, and then we can spread it over the cash flow. Okay? So to find the present for the 2,500 is basically you move this value to year, and to find the present for the 2,700, you find it the P given F for the 2 years. After that, you multiply it with the converter A given P to find the equivalent annual for those 2 years. Remember, we cannot use values that have a different time format and add them together. We have to have them equally in terms of the annual, or it has to be in the same time format. Is this part clear? Because we are going to implement it again on the coming year 3, 4, and 5. Any questions? Okay, we repeat. In year 1, the values was given from the table. 30,000 was the current market value. Why it is minus? Because it is opportunity that you have not used in year 0, and it is going to be considered as an investment. When we say investment, it means that you are paying. So when we said you are paying, that means it is outflow, not an inflow. And then year 1 was also brought from the table here, which is the 9,000 for the market value and the 2,500 as operating cost. The 2,500 is the operating cost on year 1, and the salvage was, or the market value was 9,000 inflow, because it's a future opportunity, you still can do it. Now when we do the formulation, we need to convert all the values to an annual. As we said, this chapter is an annual worth application, and it was saying that from the beginning. To convert the present to an annual, definitely we all know that it is A given P, and pay attention always to this minus sign, because as I said, the minus sign is the reason we have it, and or even though it is market value, plus the 9,000, which is the salvage, but need to be changed to an annual. And how we do that? It is A given F for 1 year, because we have only now study for year, only 1 year, minus the 2,500. It is annual. And why we talk it without any change? Because it is the only periodic value that appeared, and because the cash flow now it is only for 1 year, so no change is needed. You do the calculation and you get the result. When we do the study for the 2 years, the things that change to us is the annual. The annual now it become different because the table here shows the annual is different, and it changed over the time. In year 1 was 2,500, and in year 2 it was 2,700, and the salvage for the second year it is 8,000. Now we don't need the 9,000, because now is not considered. We only use the 2-year market value, which is the 8,000. So you have the 8,000 as a salvage value placed on year 2, and you have the annual operating cost for year 2 and the annual operating cost of year 1, but they are not equal. That means this is not the exact annual, okay? The annual, if you recall the definition, it has to be the same exact amount that periodically repeated, the same exact amount. This is not exact. 2,500 different the 2,700. To get the annual for those two, and to get the annual operating cost for those two, we need to convert them either to present, and from present to an annual, or we convert them both to future, and from the future we convert them to annual. In the solution here, it shows that those two values being converted to present. After it's been converted to present from a future, not annual, because they are single value now, they add them together, and then they multiply them with A given P for 2 years to find the annual equivalent amount for the 2 years. Now, is it clear? Okay, let's do the third year. The third year also nothing will be changed other than the value of the annual operating cost and the market value. The market value is a salvage of 6,000. We brought it from the table that is given in the question, which is here. And the annual operating cost for each year will be placed as it is given. So this is for 1, for 2, and for year 3. So we have to convert all these to an annual, as we did for the 13,000. So nothing changed, but you need to pay attention. The N, it is 3 years now, is not 2 or 1. So pay attention to that. The salvage value, it is also now for 3, not for 1 or 2, because the cash flow is being studied for 3 years. Now the annual again is not equal. So we deal with them as a single future value, need to be changed to either present or future, added all together, and then found the equivalent amount of them that will be periodically yearly format. So what we do, we convert the 2,500 to year 1, 2,700 to year 0, and the 3,000 to year 0. After you convert them all and add them, how we convert them? As we said, P given F for 1 year, and here P given F for 2 years, as you can see in the formulation, plus the 3,000 P given F for 3 years. Pay attention, there is a minus. This minus, that's mean because because all of those are in outflow, so all of them has to be in a minus sign, but he put the minus sign here, so that means it is multiplied to all of them, so he can add them first and then apply the sign. And this bracket multiplied with A given P, 10% for 3 years, to convert these values, that is become a single value in year 0 to an annual from present, to find the values that equal amount for the 3 years considering the 10%. Clear? Okay, let's move on. Okay, he did the same analysis for the coming years 4 and 5, and this is a good thing that you can apply your analysis to find the annual worth for year 4 and 5. After you sort the annual worth for all the years, you find the minimum annual worth, and that will consider to be the economic service life. The economic service life for this asset, it will be 3 years, and remember, in addition to the 3 years that is already he used, or they used, because it was 3 years old when we did the study, so another 3 years will be used for this machine, and that will be the economic service life. So in total it is 6, but as we said, the old number of years, since it was not part of our study, we consider here the only given information, which is the economic service life for the given 5 years. It is 3. That means after 3, the annual operating cost or annual worth in terms of the cost and the salvage opportunity that you can use, all of that, and the opportunity of the first year that you didn't use it, after 3 years it will be increased. So if you want to get rid of this machine, try to get rid of it at year 3. Okay, do you know what is the concept of the ESL now? Do you know how to conduct the ESL analysis? If you do, try to practice yourself year 4 and 5 and compare your result with the given annual for 4 and 5, as we did here for those values. In year 5, the salvage will be 0, and all it will be annual operating cost, because in the table that was given. And also, if you found the values in terms of the tens or the ones are different than the one you have, it is fine. I always keep getting the same questions. Doctor, I have applied the same example from home, but I have slight difference in terms of the ones and tens compared to the book. It is okay, because if you are using the table, depend on the number of figures or number of digits you are considering, so that it will reflect slightly on the answer. So it is okay. Just be consistent and repeat this question again with yourself without looking to the answer here, and see if you get to the same result, whether to be the ESL is number of the years that equal 3 is the best number of years. What is the best time to replace what you have? This is the main idea. Yes, Abdullah, this is the main idea, as we said, is to find the time when is the best in terms of economical. Now we are not talking about other factor, we are talking about economical. Okay, when is the best time to make the decision about doing the replacement? In the next inshallah meeting, we will conduct a replacement study analysis. Okay, this is economical service analysis, meaning that to find the time in the replacement inshallah analysis, we will have more methods, but inshallah we'll try to reduce them and have them in a way that to be easy to understand. I will focus only on the concepts that needed from you in the real life, and I believe economic service life is a good example, and it is the good method that you all learn and from this chapter, That's why I reduce the amount of the methods in the coming sections, and I focus on the things that is more applicable to life. Okay. You have any questions so far? We will يعني close the recording. If you don't have questions regarding to the material that we covered, okay, and we'll see you inshallah in the next meeting for part 2 of this chapter. Today I want to talk with the